Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to the Southern Motorwerks channel, a brand new channel. We're getting this channel going straight from the beginning. This is our first really kind of long format formal video, and I just wanted to give a quick introduction. I'm Matt. Quick backstory. Originally, me and my family are from Central Florida, down in Sebring. Shout out to my Highlands County peeps. We are originally from Central Florida. We just spent the last 2 years in northern Maine up there, up in Aroostook County, and it just didn't work out. It wasn't for us. We come on back down to the Florida Panhandle, and we got us a little spot back here in the woods, and we are going to make a little auto shop out of it. All right, we got us 5 acres out here, and we're going to build us a shop and really get everything going and whatnot. Have us some storage for vehicles, and you know, do restorations, modifications, the whole nine eventually. But right now we're starting out in the very beginning. As you can see, we don't even have a formal shop yet. We just got us a little kind of lean-to with a roof out here, and that's all you need sometimes. So we are going to be filming everything, and y'all can follow along with us straight from the beginning. Like I said, this is our real first long format video. The first project is going to be fixing the rusty exhaust that was a victim of northern Maine salted roads on the Mrs. Daily here. It's a 06 Volvo XC70 2.5 turbo. We're going to start out with the exhaust on that. That's going to be our very first project. All right. If you couldn't tell, judging by the spelling of our channel name, I kind of have a bit of a soft spot for the European automobiles, especially the German ones. Don't get me wrong, I love me some good old American iron too, okay? But I do have a soft spot for the German automobiles, and in this case Swedish automobiles, and so you'll see some of that on the channel for sure. But like I said, for right now, the first video, first real project you guys are going to see us on is going to be fixing the exhaust. Slight modification. It's not going to be too gnarly loud or nothing like that. The missus wants it kind of nice little tone, but you know. So we're going to fix the exhaust, modify it a little bit, and yeah. So follow along with us. Alright, so first things first here, I'm going to go ahead and get the hood popped. First things first is going to be to unbolt the exhaust from the turbo flange down there, and we'll get that done real quick and set you up over here so you can watch. Actually, turbo flange. Okay. In any job, there's always the step of losing tools inside the engine. Always have, no matter. 10mm ratcheting wrench recovered. Alright, so first things first, we're going to be taking off the heat shield around the turbo here. 10mm bolts. You want to come here and hold this for me, bud? And of course, they're getting rusty. Like everything else that spends any time in its life up north. Oh yeah, as you can see, nice and rusty. Well, wire wheel those and put some PP blaster or something on them before we put it back. Okay, we're actually back. We actually had to take a break for a second. It is so hot out here in Florida right now that the GoPro actually overheated and shut off on me. So I had to take it inside, let it sit in the air conditioner for a little bit and cool off. And so it's functioning again now. We'll see for how long. Hopefully we don't have to worry about it anymore. But anyways, let's go ahead and get back to what we're doing over here. So as you can see, if you want to get on in there, Aiden, this is the heat shield we're trying to take off right here. There's 3 bolts, one there, one over here, and one over here. And we will go ahead and get that out of there. Okay, heat shield removed. Okay, so as you can see in there, it's kind of difficult. Let's get down in there. The exhaust turbo flange. So we're going to be unbolting. There's 3 screws on here, one there, or 3 bolts rather, one there and one on the bottom. We're going to take those out, take the O2 sensors off, and this will be about ready to come out. Okay, so we got the 2 of the 3 exhaust turbo flange bolts off. The very bottom one is underneath, so we're gonna have to take the splash guard off underneath the vehicle now to be able to get to that one. So we'll do that next. Yeah, leave that 12 mil out of there. You got it?
Yep.
Set that back up. Here, you got those 2 10mm bolts to take off.
The what?
There's the two more bolts left in there. Just gonna take them off. You could use it here. In case I haven't introduced him yet, this is my son Aiden, little helper out here in the garage. Teaching the next generation. Right, bud?
Yep. Stupid thing doesn't want to move.
Got it? Alright, we're going out. Down there. Okay, now we need to go back up underneath there. 10 mils. Try to get that last flange off. Okay, so we'll kind of show y'all what we're looking at here. That third bolt for the exhaust for the turbo flange right there. We got to get that one off and the O2 sensor off. We'll get that off and we'll check back in topside. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this broke. We made it about down the state of Maine. This broke in southern Maine, and the only fix that we had on the way down was some coat hanger. So that's some roadkill stuff right there. Like 1,800 miles on a coat hanger holding the cat up. Okay, so just to help us out a little bit here, rather than fight this broken exhaust hanger here, we're just going to unbolt it completely from the two 13mm bolts underneath it there that hold it onto the subframe rather, and then the catalytic converter and all that will be released from there. We'll take the whole downpipe out with the exhaust hanger attached to it, and then we'll fight that battle outside on the vehicle. Okay, so as you can see, we are just about out of usable daylight here, so we're gonna finish getting that O2 sensor off down there, the last flange bolt. By the way, your O2 sensor, in case you need to know, it bolts in or plugs in right down in there. You'll see the plug for it, and it's just a little push clip. You push on it, it forces itself open, and then you can just unplug it. But yeah, we'll finish getting those two off, and that'll be it for the night. We got a real late start today. Had to run on into Panama City, get some stuff, and but yeah, we will finish getting that off for the night. All right, so we just got the old exhaust completely out. As you can see, we're pretty much out of usable daylight. The skeeters are starting up, so we are going to call it a night, and we'll pick this one up after work tomorrow. But pretty much tomorrow, all we have left to do, tear out the resonator pipe real quick. That's only got like one hanger holding on, and then we're just bolting in the new exhaust. So that'll be the fun part. The nasty, dirty, greasy part is all over. We ended up having to actually unbolt the steering rack a little bit to get the exhaust hanger out the rest of the way. I don't know who thought that was a great design, but you know, that's a whole nother subject. So we got that all done. I'll show you all exactly what bolts we had to take out tomorrow, just in case you're ever having to do this on this particular vehicle or series of vehicles. But for the night, the old exhaust is completely out, and we will pick this one up tomorrow, so stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back, y'all. As you can tell, it's the following day. We're going to go ahead and try to get the rest of this exhaust slap back together. We are dealing with a little bit of drizzling rain out here in the panhandle, so hopefully it doesn't slow us down too much. We can go ahead and get this exhaust back together and be able to drive the vehicle in the morning. But for right now, yeah, let me show y'all what we're dealing with down here. Alright. So as you can see, we got the exhaust out last night. This thing is just completely shot. I mean, the flex pipe is shot on it. That's the exhaust hanger there. So we'll have to finish getting that out of that rubber mount there. I mean, this is where it cracked off in southern Maine. It was obviously rusting pretty bad. The clamp there was an attempt to get us by the rest of the way, but you know, of course, we ended up going with the old coat hanger instead, which is still down there. But anyways, like I said, you can tell that one is just completely shot, so it'll be nice to be able to have a brand new one on there. Also, guys, as you can see, everything underneath this part of the car is just covered in well, there's no other way to describe it. It's a pretty decent power steering leak that we didn't really worry about while we were up in northern Maine, because as you can see, everything that had a little bit of power steering fluid get on it is not rusty. So you know, it's just that's just free rust prevention in the salt states. So you know, it's all good. But now that we're back here down south, we can actually get that fixed up right. Let me take you under here and show you what we were dealing with last night. As far as, we ended up having to take this bracket off right here that sets right up here on those 4 bolts. And then what we were fighting last night that got us so far behind is right up in here. As you can see, there's 2 bolts that hold the exhaust hanger on, and what it doesn't show you, there's a third one up there, and Volvo in their infinite wisdom sandwiched it in between the frame rail or subframe and the steering rack, and there's absolutely no room to get to it. So we had to fight that. We actually had to disconnect the 4 bolts in there and right in there for the steering rack, and actually lift the steering rack up slightly to be able to get that 3rd bolt out. So needless to say, that 3rd bolt is not going back up underneath there. And just notice that we're gonna have to put a CV joint in this pretty soon. But anyways, yeah, that 3rd bolt's not going in there. It's not going back in there. Two bolts will be plenty enough to hold it in there. But that's what took us so long last night, fighting that situation. Okay, so like I said, that was the reason why it kind of held us up last night. We ended up running out of daylight. Skeeters started coming out real bad, and we just called it a night. So now that I'm off work today, we're gonna go ahead and try to finish it off. First things first, we need to get something here and try to go ahead and get this old O2 sensor disconnected from over here. And we need to get this, that's gonna be fun. I'm sure this rusty exhaust hanger out of the part that mounts to the car, because the new exhaust actually has new hanger on it, obviously. So we just need to get this piece off of here, get this all cleaned up, well, cleaned up as best we can, and we'll go from there. Okay, now y'all get to hilariously watch me. Now y'all get to hilariously watch me try to fight this exhaust hanger over here. Probably lose the battle. And I'm sure 100% there's going to be some guy in the comments. You know what I mean, Aiden? He's going to be going, that's not how you do it, bud. And he's going to have some special tool or something like that that takes it off in about 2.3 milliseconds. Well, you know, listen, I don't have that tool, and I ain't that guy, so, you know, that's just how she goes sometimes, bud. You know what I mean? Sometimes she goes and sometimes she doesn't. You know why, bud? That's just how she goes. That did not take nowhere near as long as I thought it was going to. It's good though, right? Yeah? Nice. Hey, go get some of those blue shop rags and wipe that off. Listen, you know what else somebody's going to say in the comments? Eventually, you know, when these videos start getting more views, I'm sure. Somebody's gonna make fun of my Hart brand tools, but you know. Listen, you know what? All BS aside, right? I got this thing on a clearance discount at the store I was working at the time for like 30 bucks. So, I mean, is it the greatest impact in the world, impact driver? No, absolutely not. All right. But you know what? At the end of the day, it was 30 bucks. Okay, it works, and if something happens to it, no big deal because I'm only out $30.
That thing was
Shot?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad, bud. Pretty bad. Yep, and I'm sure anybody that watches this video that has spent any kind of significant time up north is gonna look at this exhaust and go, yep, that's just how it is. It's just how it goes, life in a salt state, you know. Just how it goes. That was honestly one of the reasons the destruction of your vehicles is one of the things that was just driving me crazy. Great folks up there, a lot of great folks, but oh, slowly watching your vehicle rust away is just not for me. Okay, so a little bit of elbow grease. O2 sensor's coming off, second one. Now yes, this O2 sensor is pretty much shot, as you can see. Yeah, I could probably booger together the connectors again, but in all honesty it's just shot. So in the meantime, I'm going to use this just as a placeholder in the bung on the new exhaust, and I will go ahead and pick up another O2 sensor, probably from IPD, Volvo, or FCP Euro. In case you're wondering, not affiliated with them at all, not being paid to say it or anything like that, but FCP Euro, IPD, Volvo, those are two great sites for vehicles if you're the owner of a Volvo or Mercedes, VW, BMW, anything like that. Excellent site for genuine parts from Germany and stuff like that. So definitely go and check them out. They're two of my favorite places to shop online. Okay, so this exhaust can officially get chucked now. Chucked over here now. Okay, and I forgot to mention this earlier, everybody, but we're actually going to hit the exhaust with a little bit of it's pretty much header paint, just to try to help it survive a little bit. Not that it's going to be nearly as bad down here as it was up there in Maine, but we're going to use a little bit of this the old flame proof right here, and I probably won't actually paint the downpipe, because in all honesty it just usually gets so hot in general on that stuff that it's not going to last at all. So I will probably just not paint that for now, and less than that way, if I paint that, you know, and it starts cooking off and the missus is driving it, you know, it might make her think something's wrong when it starts to smoking a little bit or something. But we will probably not paint the downpipe. I will paint everything from the cat on back, the muffler and the rest of the tailpipes and stuff like that, and should just help it last a little bit longer, you know what I mean. But in all honesty, down here in Florida, the exhausts do not have a problem with rusting out. They usually last, you know, with no issues. I mean, unless you're along the coast or something, maybe with the salt water, but other than that, it really shouldn't cause any problems at all. So we will pull the new exhaust out, rather, go ahead and hit it real quick with some paint, and then that can dry while we start mounting up the new downpipe to the turbo. Okay, so as you can see, we're gonna hit this with a little bit of a brake parts cleaner, just to try to promote a little adhesion of the paint. Just wipe it off with a clean shop rag. Of course, you know, be sure to get your dirty hands on there. That way, you know, the cleaning job does absolutely no good. Yeah. All right, we'll let that dry. Shouldn't take too long. This stuff usually dries pretty quick. We'll let that dry, and we'll take a break real quick, get some water. Still pretty warm out here. Not nearly as bad as it was yesterday, but it's still pretty darn humid and warm down here in the Florida Panhandle. So we'll let that dry. We'll go take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, so going back in here. And about the only thing that we have left to do, as you can see, is this this last exhaust hanger here is still holding that up there. And then I think I have kind of a makeshift one at the back there, so we will finish getting that last exhaust strap out and throw this whole resonator pipe and everything out of the way. Oh, that's in mill. A little rusty. Actually, I'm gonna leave that one kind of the last one attached there a little bit if we can, so that whenever we go to put it back up in there, we ain't got to fight it as bad. Put those in there so we don't lose those two bolts. And then that's my makeshift hanger over there. There, drag this out the back. As you can see, that's the old resonator. Now we will be reusing these this 45 right here in this exit. I mean, it's not super rusty or nothing, so we'll go ahead and just reuse that to shoot it back out the left rear of the vehicle. I do have to remove these two other exhaust hangers here real quick, so that we can try to figure out a way to get them on the new vehicle, or on the new exhaust, I mean. So we will get some PB Blaster on there and make it a little bit easier. So, but that's just about it. That's the old exhaust out completely. The new exhaust is drying, you know, black over here. Paint it black, put it back. So here in just a couple minutes we'll be ready to go ahead and just start putting the new exhaust back in. All right. I'm gonna have to take that off and tack weld it onto the new exhaust, but we might get lucky here. Let's hit that with a little bit of, be generous. Give it a little bit of PB Blaster there. Yeah, that's not happening, not with the impact. Okay. Yeah, you know, that works too.
It's snapped in half.
Yep. That's all good. We can get a extra bolt through there now. Yep. Just super rusty. Sheared right off, so. Into the junk bin. Either way, should be able to knock that off there with the cutoff wheel, and we put a regular bolt through it. Here's your tech tip for this video. It's always use safety glasses when using the old death wheel here. All right. Oh yeah, it helps if you actually plug it in. The burning PB Blasters. One of my favorite scents. Alright. Hey, don't step on that. It's a little warm. Okay. We got that cut right off. And now this can clamp around the new exhaust. We'll run a bolt and a nut through there. Simple as that. New exhaust hanger. Okay. Rust. With a PB Blaster. Knew that was coming. Oh, that was nowhere near as bad. And we might have to cut it off anyways. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, that was a lot of wasted effort. We're just gonna have to use the death wheel anyways. There we go. We'll hit the edge of it with a little bit of a file because it's pretty rough after you use any sort of abrasive cut off like that. It'll knock the burrs off of it. Make it go back together much smoother. And that should be fine. This doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're not making some sort of performance exhaust here or nothing. It's just a, you know, decent exhaust for a daily driver. As long as it doesn't have any leaks or anything like that, that's really what we're looking for here. So if I was trying to do some sort of performance exhaust, obviously we would not be, you know, reusing rusty clamps or whatever, but I mean, in all honesty, this should be fine. Be all right. Good enough for government work. Before we actually start painting it though, you need to test fit. Just to make sure one of these. Yep, perfect. All right, let's go and spray this real quick. Now while that's painting, or drying rather, we'll go ahead and we can start putting the rest of the exhaust together up underneath there. So now we're going to go ahead and bolt the exhaust hanger back up in there. minus the ridiculously placed fastener from Volvo. Of course, now in order to get these bolts back in there, you gotta use your mechanic's fingertips. You know, those fingertips with the eyeballs on the ends of them? Yeah. Unless you have a lift. That would be amazing. Oh man, can you imagine a lift right now, Aiden? That'd be great. I wouldn't know what to do. Oh. Those are what, 13 on there, I think? Okay. Now, should be able to pin the new exhaust right in there. Get that hung up. Hopefully. You're gonna have to kind of steer me a little bit. Like that. Hold her there for a second. Start getting this exhaust thing in. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but while he was under there, we got the one bolt started on here. Of course, make sure it's through your flange gasket there. And yeah, we will go ahead and get the second one going and go from there. It's hot. Okay, so note to self, the gasket here only goes on one direction. And you would think, you know, most of the time it would be, no, it's actually, if you happen to order a kit like this, double check that. It's actually supposed to go in this direction on this particular P2 XC70. May vary by application. Now the kit actually came with new hardware, but as you can see, the bolts are a little bit different, and I don't actually think, from the looks of it, yeah, there's a wrong thread pitch, and it looks to be a little bit bigger around actually. So needless to say, we're not using these. Those will go in the bolt bin, and I'm sure they'll get used for some random project later on, but we will be using the original hardware that came off of the original turbo, original downpipe, I should say. And this one I may have to get up underneath there to do. Okay, and we have that cinched down. We will finish tightening it the rest of the way with a actual socket ratchet, but it is on there for now. And we'll take a quick break, go get some hydration. Like I said, it's still pretty warm out here, so we're gonna go take a quick break and then we'll be right back. Pull up real quick the conversion for Newton meters to inch pounds or foot pounds, and we'll go from there. So we will take our torque wrench here, 1/4 inch drive. It goes up to 200, so we'll just, we'll just take our hair over 200. It'll be all right. Okay, let's see what we're at here. Well, that one's definitely tight enough already. As you can see here, our nice it's a Flowtech Raptor, just a decent little parts store turbo muffler to like I said, it's the missus, it's her daily driver. I didn't want anything too obnoxious loud or anything, like a chambered muffler or something like that, so we will go with this now. Okay, so here's the situation. Somehow, not sure how, we ended up with what appears to be a 2 1/4 inch 18-inch resonator pipe instead of the 18-inch piece of 2 1/2 inch that we were actually looking for. So I guess, in a hurry at the parts store and I wasn't paying attention, picked up the wrong part. So now we will have to run back to the parts store real quick, get one more stick, and I think I'm going to grab a 2 1/2 inch 45 just in case, because I'm not quite liking the angle that it's coming out at. So we'll probably grab a 2 1/2 inch 45 also, and grab the extra 2 1/2 inch stick that we need, because we're a few inches short coming out of the back side here. And yeah, so we'll be right back after that trip. Okay, so last thing you will have seen was us up under the car fitting up the last couple pieces, and come to find out we actually picked up one incorrect piece. That was my fault, not paying attention at the parts store. But anyway, so we got those parts from down in Panama City. Got the 2 extra pieces that we need, and then we kind of had a little bit of an issue. So I crunk it up just to see how she was, make sure everything was going to be fitting upright and everything. We weren't going to have any leaks around the turbo flange. Well, that's exactly what there was. There was air puffing out around the edge of the turbo flange, and I'll explain to you why here. So this is the flange on the aftermarket piece that we bought here, okay? And as you can see, it's completely flat in here, completely flat. Well, the factory one has a anybody that's worked on these P2s, or probably several different models of the Volvos, they have a little recessed seal that whenever the engine heats up, the turbo heats up rather, it expands a little bit and it seals up around the turbo flange. Well, obviously the aftermarket flange did not have that, and so they provided me with this chintzy little gasket that just was not doing the job. And yeah, this little gasket here, yeah, you can see where it tried to squish down on it. Yeah, that thing had zero hope of actually sealing up against there. So here's what we did. We cut the original flange off of the old wore out downpipe, cut the new flange off of the aftermarket one, and just welded her on there real good. And surprisingly enough, the old Flux 125 over there was able to get pretty decent penetration on there. I mean, they're not the prettiest welds, you know, if I'm being honest, all right? But, you know, it'll work. It'll work as long as it seals up. That's all I'm really concerned about. So, my big welder's out of commission right now. So we're down to the old 125 Flux over here. But it did a decent job. So I guess we'll know for sure once we get it back on there and the engine cranked up and make sure it's going to seal. But for now, it's on there. So we're going to go ahead and slap the downpipe back up in there and continue on where we were at the other night with the correct exhaust parts, and go ahead and get this exhaust hung the rest of the way and get this job wrapped up finally. Okay, so we got the downpipe stabbed back up underneath there. So we're going to go ahead and put the bolts back in, holding it on there, and hopefully this time it'll seal up 100%. But we'll spare you the you know, paint drying watching this here. We'll just speed it up, and since you've seen this already. Okay, we're going to trim the last exhaust piece here down from 18 inches to they're right at about 10 inches, and that should be the last piece of the puzzle. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the exhaust hangers on now, or exhaust clamps rather. Actually, before we do that, we'll hook up the O2 sensors real quick, and then we'll put the exhaust clamps on, and that's going to be finito, the end of this project. Okay, we'll go ahead and plug in the O2 sensor again real quick over here. If I can manage to get some light down in there to be able to see. There we go. That might work. Get this face in the right direction here. Got it. Okay. There we go. Put that little hose clamp thing on there. Keep it off the exhaust. Alright, that's the top side reconnected. Now we'll plug in that one on the bottom.
I was about to say, that looks way better now.
Yeah. Drive shaft. Okay. Hand?
Yes.
Shit, gonna be a short one. The socket back. Okay, give me that last exhaust clamp. Okay. That is officially as good as it's gonna get. All right, y'all. So as you can see, we're just about out of daylight here in Florida, and we just finished. Got all the exhaust clamps on, all the exhaust hangers back on. I think I'm short like one exhaust clamp, but it's pretty tight fit, so I think it'll ride till I can grab one more at the parts store tomorrow. I think everything's good to go. So let's Aiden, go ahead and fire it up, man. Hey Aiden, give her a couple revs. Don't be scared of it, get after it. Don't sound too bad, do it one more time. That's got a nice little tone to it. Come here, son. Yeah, doesn't sound too bad at all for a little turbo 2.5. I do have to get a nice exhaust tip for it though. That little just a factory cut off there, just ain't cutting it. So we'll put a nice tip on there eventually. Cut that off flush, put a nice tip on it. All right, doesn't sound too bad at all. Not too bad at all. That muffler, it's not as loud as what I was originally going to put on it, and I think that's probably exactly what the missus is looking for. I think that'll work out just fine on there. We'll see how the drone is at highway speed or whatever, but I don't think it's going to be too bad with it shooting out the back of the car like that. But I see the missus just came out of the house here, wondering why I'm revving the old Volvo up out here. I mean, you know, when you redo the exhaust, you gotta check and see what it sounds like, right? But all right, y'all, I appreciate you, everybody hanging in there, sticking with us through the couple mistakes. You know, I mean, anytime you do any sort of modifications or whatnot, you're gonna run into some mistakes like that. Mistakes, things that have to be modified. You know, I mean, unless you're dealing with something that's just a direct bolt-in, there's gonna be some sort of modification, some sort of, you know, obstacles that you run into. So just gotta, you know, figure out a way to make it work, and in this case we did. So the old Volvo is the wife's daily here, I should say, is one step closer to being, you know, back up to par. We got a few more things we got to fix on it, suspension wise and power steering leak, stuff like that, things that are results from being on them rough roads up in northern Maine up there. But we're one step closer to having her good to go for now, and that's first full-length video, first real, you know, glimpse into the projects here at Southern Motorwerks. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next project. Thinking we do something on mine next time.